There's this conversation that we're having at Microsoft right now, which is when we look at what's happening, we think of it, we're calling it the invisible revolution. And so what does the invisible revolution mean? Well, let's take the opposite real quick. What does visible mean? Visible, when you think about technology, visible is what we've all been living through most of our lives, right? The technology that you love are things like your PC and your phone and your TV and your speakers and all the things that we've known, the comforts that we've had and we've grown attached to over the course of our lives. But where we are today, what we're starting to see happen is those things are, quite frankly, becoming more and more undistinguished or irrelevant to us. However, what we are starting to get more and more attached to are the services that we consume today. If you think about the music service that you use, or the video consumption services that you use, or maybe there's health and fitness apps that you use, obviously the data that you use and you expect to go with you from device to device to device. And so what's driving the cause of this invisible revolution that we see are around three things. The first is around this idea of pervasive but invisible technology. Technology is everywhere. There are millions, if not billions, of sensors all around the world today gathering data. The second, all of this is being enabled because of the massive shift of going to cloud computing and because of the advancements we're making in artificial intelligence right now. And then thirdly, it's caused by the fact that a lot of the computing power that we rely on is actually moving into the cloud. So as we make huge, and a lot of companies and different organizations make huge infrastructure investments in the cloud, it also enables us to put more and more computing power in the cloud, which then gets us speeding back forward toward this idea of having ubiquitous computing in this invisible revolution. So there's three areas that we're focused on right now in our research and development. The first is around basically helping people to get more out of the time that they have. The second is around what we call augmenting or enhancing the human experience. And then the third is around faster computing power. One of the things that we're looking at right now is something very basic to give you more time back, and that is, how do you run meetings? And it may sound a little mundane or boring, but I've seen some of this work in action, and if you actually think about the implications it has for your day-to-day life, it's actually quite extraordinary. We've already built in some centers right now where you walk into the room and there are sensors in the room, and it knows, so there are about 130, I think, in this room, 150, it would know that all of us are in this room, and it would know that you have an Android device and you have an iPhone and you're coming on a Surface Pro 4. The rest of you, of course, all have Windows devices, and it would know this, and it would know how you're logging into the system, and it would start connecting us all automagically, if you will. We actually have a tool today that we're using that's an open source tool. Anybody can go in and code to this, and it's called Delve. Delve is kind of like having your own virtual assistant. And what Delve does is it would go out and it would talk to all the other virtual assistants of everybody else you work with. It's like they're having meetings in the hallway, and they're discussing what projects do you work on, and what files do you need, and what customer escalations are you managing, et cetera, et cetera. And it gets smarter and smarter about you and your team and your organization, connecting you so that you have the information you need to be more productive and to get back time. The last area I'd highlight here is this virtual assistant product that we've now had on the market named Cortana. Interestingly enough, this is a picture of Cortana on the iPhone. So Cortana works beautifully on Windows 10, but Cortana also works across platform. So what Cortana is my virtual assistant. She learns about me as we spend more time together. She learns about my schedule. She can check my email, and she can see commitments I may have made for a meeting or to follow up on something or whatever. She knows maybe when I need to leave for a meeting because of the traffic situation. She starts to be able to predict how I work, how I live, and the information I need to kind of augment me. I'm not worried that Cortana is going to replace me, but she's going to help me with the things that I'm not so good at managing, and she's going to get smarter about me as we go. You may not ever experience this one, but it's going to probably impact your world at some point in time in the not so distant future. So this is this is kind of not like Cortana. It's not a virtual assistant. You can think of it as your virtual friend. And the first time I heard this, I kind of laughed because I didn't think I want a virtual friend. I kind of like the ones I have who are real. But this is called Xiaoping. And what Xiaoping does, first of all, there are about 40 million Chinese people who use this app, who log on average 60 times a day. And what they're talking about is, hey, did you see that TV show tonight? What's happening with my favorite celebrity? What's happening, with whatever's going on in pop culture? Because what Xiaoping is doing is she's scanning all the social media in the area. She's getting a sense of what people are talking about. She's learning the individual that she's connecting to, how they like to interact. She's talking with empathy, which is actually quite amazing. And it's all done through machine learning. It's not like programmers were in there, if the person says this, type this. So you think about the advancements in what we're doing as far as being able to listen and to process information, and then to be able to turn that into something that shows empathy. It gives a real sense for how we might be talking to machines somewhere down the road.